Hi, and welcome back to Poultergeist Board Games. Today, we're going to talk about some of my favorite game mechanics. So, I have 5 that I picked out: Bond, Weather, Initiative, Random Events, and Terrain Effects. So, I will go through each one of those and let you know why I like them and so forth. So number one, Bonds. This is famous in Mark Simonich's games, his 44 series, like Holland 44, in France 40, Salerno 43, etc. Those games. So what is a Zoc bond? A Zoc bond is, first, a Zoc is a zone of control. So it's usually these 6, it's in hexen counter games, and it is the 6 sides around the hex are the zone of control by the unit. And a Zoc bond is created when another unit has a space in between them, and this allows or doesn't allow enemies to go in between. If an enemy enters, it has to be attacked. It also disrupts supply lines, as supply lines can't go through Zoc bonds. But it's just a neat little mechanic, and I like it just because it's you can create a power over the enemy by cutting their supply line and keeping them in check that way. My next thing is weather. So weather, always plays an important part in war. In wargaming, it's always a factor. You look at Normandy and D-Day. The invasion was put off because of weather. Bombing is critical. You need good weather for bombing and so forth. So I like Thomas Van Hare. I think has revolutionized this. He has a game, a mechanic, a weather progression system that he uses that I think is pretty unique and pretty ingenious, because it follows what real weather does. I'm a weather nut. I love weather things, and when I saw it in motion the first time playing Lysander SOE, I was amazed, and I immediately reached out to him and said, "This is the most amazing weather system I've ever seen." So it's cool because it progresses and it regresses like weather really does. Weather doesn't go from like sunny to snowing right away. There's like a progression to it. And also weather regresses as weather changes all the time. But it's so brings a real life aspect to wargaming, which I think is really cool. So thank you, Thomas Van Hare, for that contribution. That's awesome. All right, so the next one I have is initiative. So initiative, what is it? Initiative is always, it's like determining who goes first. In aviation war games, initiative can be determined by your position on an aircraft, whether you're advantaged or disadvantaged, neutral, etc., things like that. It can also be determined sometimes by chip pull. That's fun because it's totally random, and you don't know who's going to go first, and it can you know be good for you or it could be bad for you. It's just kind of neat to have that chip pull system, and Ted Racier does it well in his Dark series that he has, and it's also in Drop Zone from Worthington Publishing. They have a chip pull system for initiative. Why do I like it? I like it because it's like I like the chip pull part because it doesn't give a clear advantage. It's totally random. Um, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on the different initiative, mechanics and things? So yeah, I like initiative in different games. It can be different, you know. So um, next one is random events. So random events are, I think we've all had that feeling of when you roll and it says you got to roll on the random event table, and you get that pit in your stomach, and you're like, oh God, what is it? It's going to be, it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. In American Tank Ace, it could be a artillery barrage, and you're unbuttoned, and you're going to have hell rain down on you. Or it could be good, and you get to take out a German anti-tank gun or something. It's kind of neat because it's totally random, like it says, and it's um, you don't know what it's going to be, and that's I think the fun part about it. That's why I like it. Is it's just totally random, and you don't know what you're going to get. You could be good, could be a lucky rabbit's foot, like in B-17 Queen of the Skies. That um, as most of us know, Daniel Niemi used to save his butt in his 25th mission. If you haven't watched that, I'd highly suggest you go back for some good entertainment to see his 25 missions on B-17 Queen of the Skies. But anyways, yeah, so random events. Last one I have is terrain effects. Terrain effects, terrain is everything in war, right? Uh, you know, the high ground is like the park place of wargaming, and in history as well. Just ask Colonel Custer, right? He didn't have the high ground, and he lost. Just ask Anakin Skywalker. He didn't have the high ground. Uh, didn't work out well for him. Well, I guess it kind of did. He got turned into Darth Vader, but um, anyways, so I like it, because it adds depth, and it adds realism to the game. We don't play on we do play on a 2D surface, but like the real life is 3D, and when you're got a target on a bridge, they have an advantage. They can see you, you can't really see them, and so it's a good thing to have hills and rocks and things like that. They cause their obstacles, line of sight issues. So I think it's a really cool thing to have. Make sure you have the terrain effects in games, and because it's there. All right, so those are my 5 things. Hope I didn't bore you too much, but I, would love to hear what you guys think are your top 5 or your favorite mechanics. So let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.